Have you ever felt like exercise just isn't working the way it used to? You've followed the advice, joined the gym, lifted weights, maybe even tried yoga or those complicated machines. But deep down, you wonder, is all this really helping me? Or is it just making me more tired, more sore, and more frustrated? If that's you, you're not alone. In fact, you might be shocked to hear this. But most of what we've been told about fitness after age 70 is flat out wrong. Not only that, some of it could actually be putting your health at risk. Now, I know that's a bold claim, but I want you to stay with me, because today, we're going to talk about something that could change the way you think about exercise forever. I'm going to show you the only 3 movements your body truly needs after 70. No heavy weights, no crowded gyms, no exhausting routines. Just 3 simple movements that you can do at home, in your living room, wearing whatever you want, even your favorite slippers. And these aren't just my personal opinions. These movements are backed by real medical research. They're the ones that improve balance, build strength where it really counts, and most importantly, help you stay independent and in your own home without relying on others. Let me tell you about George. He's 78 years old and lives in Nevada. George used to be a postal carrier, walking miles every day for decades. But a couple of years ago, he had 2 falls in his garden. Nothing major, but they shook him. He stopped tending his vegetables. He avoided uneven sidewalks. He even started skipping walks around the block with his dog. The fear of falling was always in the back of his mind. That's when his doctor introduced him to something called balance walking. It's also known as the heel-to-toe walk. Sounds simple, right? But this movement retrains a part of your body that most people don't even realize exists, your proprioceptive system. That's just a fancy word for the little sensors in your feet, legs, ears, and eyes that help your brain understand where your body is in space. Now, here's the thing. As we age, that internal balance system gets a little rusty. But the good news? You can tune it back up. George started practicing the balance walk just 5 minutes a day in his hallway. No gym, no equipment, just a straight line, 1 foot in front of the other, heel touching toe. At first, he had to keep one hand near the wall. That's okay. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be consistent. Within a few weeks, George was walking that hallway without touching the wall. A few more weeks, and he was back in his garden. He told me he even walks across his gravel path now with full confidence. Something he hadn't done in over a year. Why is this so powerful? Because according to researchers at Harvard Medical School, seniors who do balance walking for just 5 minutes a day can reduce their risk of falls by up to 80% in 8 weeks. That's not marketing fluff. That's science. Think about that for a moment. A simple movement you can do while walking to the kitchen could be the very thing that prevents a fall, a hip fracture, or a hospital stay. That's why I call this movement the unsung hero of senior fitness. Most fitness programs ignore it, but it's the most important one to master if you want to stay on your feet and out of the emergency room. It's easy to start. Find a safe spot in your home, a hallway, a long rug, a room with a sturdy wall nearby. Stand tall, shoulders relaxed, arms at your sides or extended slightly for balance. Then take a slow, deliberate step forward, placing the heel of 1 foot directly in front of the toes of the other, almost like you're walking on a tightrope. Keep your eyes on a point ahead of you, not down at your feet. Go slow. Pause if you feel unsteady. And don't be afraid to touch the wall for balance if you need to. This movement doesn't just help your legs, it rewires your nervous system. It teaches your brain and body how to stay balanced, even when life throws you off course. And trust me, you'll feel the difference. Not just physically, but emotionally. George said he feels 10 years younger. Not because his legs got stronger, but because his confidence came back. Now, if you're already thinking, That sounds great, but what about when I need to bend down or reach up? That brings me to the second movement, one that's just as overlooked but equally life-changing. Let's talk about something that might seem simple, until it's not. Reaching. Grabbing a can from the top shelf, picking up laundry off the floor, getting a box down from the closet. These little actions don't seem like a big deal, until one day, you hesitate. You feel a tug in your back. You nearly lose your balance. You start asking someone else to do it for you. That's exactly what happened to Helen. She's 73, a retired librarian from Vermont. She'd always been independent, living alone in the same home she raised her kids in. But one day she found herself avoiding the top kitchen shelf. She'd wait until her daughter visited to help get things down. And the floor? Forget it. Socks that slipped under the bed stayed there. She didn't want to risk falling. But here's the truth. When you stop reaching, you start retreating. Every time you avoid bending or stretching, your body becomes just a little less capable. That's how people go from independent to assisted living. Not all at once, but inch by inch. The good news is that this kind of reaching, what physical therapists call functional reach, is something you can practice and improve. And once you do, you take back your independence one shelf, one drawer, one sock at a time. Helen started small. When reaching overhead, she planted her feet shoulder-width apart, tightened her core like someone was about to tickle her, and used one hand to reach while the other stayed near the wall or countertop for support. When bending low, she used a technique called the hip hinge. Instead of bending from the waist, she pushed her hips back like she was about to sit, kept her chest up, and let her knees bend slightly. No strain on the back. No fear of falling forward. For things on the floor, she practiced squatting by bending both knees and lowering herself like she was picking up a child. Not leaning forward, but staying upright and close to the object. And guess what? Within a few weeks, Helen stopped asking for help. She cooked more, cleaned more, reorganized her pantry. She felt like herself again. Johns Hopkins researchers found that seniors who keep their functional reach ability strong are 70% more likely to live independently past age 80. Think about that. Something as simple as learning to bend and reach safely could be the difference between staying in your home or moving into a care facility. You don't need fancy workouts to make this happen. Just a few minutes a day, reaching for different items at different heights, safely, mindfully, and consistently. Over time, your body learns what to do again. And that makes all the difference. So far, we've talked about balance and reaching, two of the most overlooked but essential movements for anyone over 70. But there's one more. One final movement that doctors say might be the single most important predictor of whether you can stay living on your own or not. And that brings us to the third and final movement, one that sounds so simple, so ordinary, that most people don't give it a second thought. But after 70, this single ability becomes the difference between independence and dependence, between freedom and needing help with the most basic tasks. I'm talking about the act of standing up from a chair without using your hands. Now, if you're thinking, really? That's it? Just hear me out. There's a reason why doctors at the Mayo Clinic call this the gold standard for functional mobility in older adults. In fact, their research shows that being able to stand up from a chair without hand support is one of the strongest predictors of life expectancy and fall risk. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 74 and lives in Kansas. For years, Robert had a gym membership that cost him $120 a month. He followed everything the trainers told him, circuit training, machines, group classes, but he still felt tired, off balance, and honestly, a little disappointed. One day during a routine checkup, his doctor asked him to stand up from the exam room chair without using his hands. Robert tried and struggled. That's when the doctor told him, "You're strong in the gym, but you're missing the strength that matters." That moment changed everything for Robert. He started focusing on one thing: mastering the chair stand. No equipment, no gym. Just learning how to get up smoothly and confidently from a seated position every single day. It sounds basic, but this movement works your entire lower body, your core muscles, and, most importantly, your balance and coordination. It mimics real-life actions: getting out of bed, off the toilet, out of the car, or up from your favorite chair. Lose this ability and suddenly everything becomes harder. When Robert started, he could barely do one repetition without bracing on the armrest. But he didn't give up. Each morning, he'd sit in a sturdy kitchen chair, cross his arms over his chest, plant his feet shoulder-width apart, lean slightly forward, tighten his belly, and rise, slowly and with control. If he needed a hand the first few times, he gave himself permission. The goal wasn't perfection, it was progress. And progress came. Week by week, he added one more repetition. By week 6, he was doing 10 in a row, no hands, no struggle. And the amazing thing? His energy went up. His knees hurt less. He walked with more stability. But what mattered most to him? He didn't need help getting off the couch anymore. It gave him a renewed sense of pride, of freedom. Now, here's what the research says. Seniors who can perform 5 consecutive chair stands without using their hands have a 40% lower risk of falling. They also tend to maintain their independence 60% longer than those who can't. That's huge. Because let's face it, no one wants to be told it's time for assisted living. No one wants to depend on someone else to get out of bed or out of a chair. But losing that strength creeps up on you slowly. You don't notice until one day, you do. That's why starting today matters. Even if you can only do 1 or 2 without support, that's enough. You're training the exact muscles, your thighs, glutes, core, and the coordination you need to keep living on your own terms. I want to say this clearly. Gym workouts are not useless because exercise is bad. They're useless because they often focus on the wrong things. Machines that isolate one muscle group, classes that move too fast, or routines built for younger bodies that recover quickly. What your body truly needs after 70 is function. Not fitness, not fancy workouts, not a beach body. Just the raw ability to move through daily life safely, confidently, and without fear. That's what these 3 movements are all about. Balance walking strengthens the system that keeps you upright and safe. Functional reaching lets you move with freedom, not fear. And the chair stand keeps you grounded, literally in your independence. You don't need to sweat buckets or bench press your weight to feel strong again. You just need 15 to 20 minutes a day with these 3 movements. That's it. And the best part? You don't even need to change clothes or leave your house. You can do them right in your kitchen, hallway, living room, or even in the backyard with the birds chirping and coffee in hand. You see, staying healthy after 70 isn't about doing more. It's about doing smarter. Choosing movements that matter. Ones that give back. And if you're thinking, well, I'm already past 70, is it too late to start? Let me be absolutely clear. It's never too late. Your body is incredible. It responds to movement at any age. Even a little bit makes a big difference. Helen was 73 when she started practicing safe reaching. George was 78 when he retrained his balance. Robert was 74 when he ditched the gym and focused on stand-ups. You can start right now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. You don't need fancy sneakers or the newest gadget. Just your body, your attention, and a bit of daily effort. I know that starting something new can feel overwhelming. Maybe you haven't exercised in years. Maybe your knees ache. Maybe you've fallen before and it scared you. That's okay. That fear is understandable. But the best way to fight fear is with preparation. These 3 movements are your preparation. They're not just exercises. They're lifelines. They keep you steady when the floor is slippery. They help you grab the cereal box without wobbling. They give you the strength to stand, the freedom to bend, and the confidence to keep saying yes to walking the dog, to gardening, to hugging your grandkids without hesitation. You've lived through decades of change, challenges, joys, and trials. Don't let your body be the thing that holds you back now. You deserve to feel strong, capable, and in control, not just in your mind and heart, but in your muscles, your balance, your everyday life. So, if today's the first day you try these movements, I'm proud of you. If it's the 10th or 100th, keep going. Because every chair stand, every slow walk along that hallway, every safe reach into the cabinet, that's a small victory. And small victories add up. Movement isn't just about muscles. It's about freedom. It's about waking up in the morning and knowing you can do what you want, go where you want, without fear or hesitation. That's what real strength looks like after 70. It's not about lifting dumbbells or running laps. It's about living fully, on your own terms. And here's what I want you to take away from everything we've talked about today. You don't have to do more to feel better. You just have to do the right things. 3 movements. That's it. 3 simple actions, done daily with care and consistency, can build the foundation for a stronger, safer, more independent life. First, you retrain your balance with the heel-to-toe walk, just like George did. You wake up that quiet system inside your body that keeps you upright, alert, and ready to react. You build confidence on your feet. You walk straighter. You move with less hesitation. And you silence that little voice in your head that says, "What if I fall?" Then, like Helen, you start reaching again. You stretch for the top shelf, crouch for the laundry, bend to pick something up, and you do it without fear. You learn the mechanics that protect your back, preserve your energy, and remind you that your home is still yours to navigate. No need to wait for someone to help or rearrange your cupboards. You've got this. And finally, like Robert, you master the chair stand. Not just because it's good for your legs, but because it symbolizes something much deeper, your ability to get up, to rise, to meet the day without needing a hand. Now, let's be honest. These aren't flashy moves. You won't see them on fitness infomercials or advertised with shiny logos. And that's exactly why they're powerful. They're simple. They're functional. And they matter in real life, not just in the gym. I meet so many seniors who say, "I wish I had started earlier." But I'll tell you what I tell them. The best day to start was yesterday. The second best day? Today. So if you've listened this far, I want to invite you to try something. Just one thing. Pick one of the 3 movements. Balance walk, functional reach, or chair stand, and do it right now. Yes, right now. Just 1 minute. Just 1 repetition. You'll be surprised at how even the smallest effort sparks a shift inside you. The hardest part is starting. After that, your body begins to remember. And it loves to move. It always has. Maybe it's been a while since you moved like this. Maybe you're worried it won't be perfect. That's okay. This isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself, gently and consistently, like a friend you trust. And if something feels stiff or shaky or uncertain, that's okay too. You're not broken. You're just reawakening muscles and systems that have been asleep for a while. Give them time. They'll wake up. Now let me say something I think you need to hear. You are not too old to get stronger. You are not too old to feel good again. And you are certainly not too old to take control of your health. The world often underestimates people in their 70s and 80s, but I don't. I see people who've raised families, built communities, survived losses, and laughed louder than most people dare. You've lived. You've learned. And now you get to live even better, because you're choosing to take care of yourself in the most meaningful way. You're choosing functional strength, the kind that helps you get off the floor if you drop something, The kind that lets you carry a grocery bag to the car. The kind that gives you the confidence to say, "I've got it," when someone offers to help, but you know you can handle it yourself. These 3 movements won't just keep you upright. They'll keep you moving forward. And they'll do it with no gym memberships, no complicated gear, no intense schedules. Just you and your body, doing what it was made to do. Move with purpose, grace, and resilience. So let me ask you something. Which of these 3 movements feels most challenging to you right now? Is it standing up without help? Keeping your balance steady? Reaching overhead or crouching low? Whichever it is, drop a comment below. Not only will you help yourself, you'll help others in this community who might be facing the same thing. We're all learning together, and when you share, you give someone else the encouragement they need to begin. And if this video spoke to you, if it gave you even one small aha moment, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the Strong Elderly Life channel. We're here for one reason: to help you live stronger, longer, and more independently, no matter what number is on your birth certificate. This channel is full of research-based, heart-centered guidance for people who are ready to take their health into their own hands. And that includes you. So go ahead, stand tall. Reach for the good things. Walk steady. You've earned the right to move through life without fear, without hesitation, and without limits. Here's to your strength, your independence, and your joy. Here's to living your best life at any age.